Good evening. I start today's video not as cheerful, not because it is not a good day, praise the Lord, because every day is, but personal reasons. In my life, I have a good friend. We'd play games together, um, card games, and obviously, in my life, I now have kids. I had my wife when we played games, but when it's just you and your wife, you can make the time. With kids, it's a little harder, and now with two kids, even harder. And so it's been harder to play, but we play all the time. And as a guy, I don't feel like distance denotes closeness. So even if I don't talk to you for several years, I still think of you as a brother. And he's just for the for all those who may be listening, it may be easier to have a name to point to this. So we'll call him Terrence. Um, he wasn't doing too hot. I went and saw him in the hospital. It's ghastly. It's sad because you see someone, like you have a memory of people, and in some ways you can look at it as a good thing or a bad thing. My grandfather, when he passed, I never got to see him just before he passed, so I don't have the that before death picture of him in my head. I have the a little more healthier, a little more lively version in my head whenever I think about him. My grandfather was a great man, and anyone who met him would talk praises about him. He was a good man. He was a man of God. Um, Part of the reason, started to push one of those small steps when he passed. I was like, I need to be more. I need to be more like him because he was a good man. At his funeral, there wasn't anyone who came and talked shame or anyone who talked badly about him. Sure, he had his problems um, coming up in life, and he had some demons of his own to conquer, but he was a good man. And I'm now coming to, I'm not young per se, I'm not old either, but I'm in my 30s, and it's just more and more people, they're either getting close to dying or they are. And obviously, not everyone in my family is just dying left, right, and center, nor my friends. But within these last 2 months ish, not to like personal dump, I've had a friend die, and then I've had another friend who's deathly sick, and I pray, and I went there and I prayed with him that he gets better. But I think this is another reason as to why we should push ourselves and our loved ones closer to Christ, because there's a peace of mind knowing where you can end up or where you will end up if you're so confident. But there's a peace of mind knowing where you could end up, knowing that if you do all the right things or if you have the right belief, that you will end up in the most holy of holiest places, in the presence of God himself, Jesus Christ, Lord of Lords, King of Kings. And my friend, I don't know his personal convictions. We're one of those guy friend groups where we didn't really talk about stuff like that. We just sat down, we played our card game, we played a couple games, and then we kind of walk away, maybe talk about it later. For all those who may be curious, it was just Magic the Gathering, nothing crazy. Brewing decks and stuff, just bouncing ideas off each other. And so his personal convictions just never came up, nor did mine. And I mean, I wasn't staunchly Christian at the time, so it wouldn't even came up. But now that I am, it's been about a year now into this, me taking it on fully. I went to the hospital, and I was just there's too many things going on. Nurses running in and out because his oxygen was low. People coming in, and this isn't to say that I was bad. Some might see it that way. I didn't take the opportunity to really preach to him, but I was kind of like lost, stunned, I guess is another good word for it. I just kind of sat there, just kind of in my own thoughts, thinking about life as it is in his life, and if it may or may not continue, like the steps forward. Um, Obviously, I don't think me personally, although we're close, and I feel that we are close, I don't think I'd be one of those people who were planning any of the afterlife services just because he has a he has his own fiance and he has family that would obviously take care of those things. But um, when I was there, the most I could do was like just set aside some time for all of us to kind of pray for his health, and if he is not to heal, that he accepts Jesus Christ so that he can possibly make his way up to heaven. Because I don't know, I don't want to sit here and say, oh, he will or he will not. I don't have claim to that knowledge. Um, but the line that I did want to read to him, and I'm going to read it to you all now. It's in John 11, verse 25 to 27. Yes. And hold on, it might be 28. No, I think it's 27. All right. It states, Jesus said to her, I am the resurrection and the life. He who believes in me, though he may die, he shall live. And whoever lives and believes in me shall never die. Do you believe this? And then she said to him, yes, Lord, I believe that you are the Christ, the Son of God, who is to come into the world. And so I thought this one was very focused on what I believed he should try and, I don't know the right words for it, but just to kind of give him that idea, put it in his brain, plant the seed of Jesus Christ if he hasn't already had it, or water that seed, because when you don't know where you're going to go in the end, there's some people who are true nihilists, and they kind of have that mindset where, yeah, it's whatever. But I think most people have that, I don't want to die. I don't know what's at the end of that tunnel. And I think as a Christian, we have that benefit, that pleasure of knowing that there is a good and a bad. There's a heaven and a hell. And if we are devoted in our belief to Jesus Christ, and we follow his law, and we strive to be the best Christian we can be, that we can, and obviously that the striving to be the best Christian can be, you don't make it to heaven through your works, it's through faith and faith alone. But I think if you, Jesus also said that you will see, like a tree by its fruits, basically, if you're doing all the Christianly things, all the godly things, then people can tell you're a Christian. So you don't get there through that, but you can tell. People can tell. And so he, at this current moment, I don't know his status. And if someone stumbles upon this video way later down the line, I'll maybe pin a comment if he recovered or if he is to pass. But yeah, it's sad, obviously, but it's unfortunate because I feel like I lost a valuable opportunity to talk with him solely about Jesus Christ and how his life can be saved. I had another friend there at the time who was also a believer in God, a believer in Jesus Christ. And so when I left, because I had to get home, help my wife with the kids, I hope that he kind of took the reins there and maybe did better where I failed. Because, I brought it up and I mentioned it, but I feel like I failed as I didn't hone in on it and kind of not hound him, because I don't think that's the way you do it. You just talk. You just converse. You talk about Jesus Christ. And I pray that even if my subpar speech, subpar prayer, my subpar emotion towards Jesus Christ was not, although I feel personally that it wasn't, an A plus. I pray that it was enough to get him at least pushed in that direction, because I don't want to see anyone go to hell, especially people that I know, obviously. I mean, bias as bias can be, but I don't want no one to go to hell. I want as many people as possible to accept Jesus Christ, proclaim Him your Lord and Savior, proclaim Him God, and go to heaven. But obviously, there are those who will be hardened of the heart, and they will never do that. And that's, like, I get it. You know, God knows all, God sees all. This isn't a surprise to Him. But it's moments like these where you see someone you know who was healthy not too long ago, who was walking with you, playing games with you, on what is possibly their deathbed, and you think to yourself, this life is short, man. Life is not as long as you think it is. You can die at any point in time, and when you die, do you want to be known as a good guy, a great friend, or I wish I could remember the exact quote that Charlie said, but he wanted to be remembered for his courage and his faith, and I think that's what we all want to be remembered as, having courage in our faith, because that kind of trickles down to all the other things too. And yeah, man, it's just sad. Obviously, I don't wish anyone has to go through something like this, nor do I want this to be the case for myself. I really do hope and I pray that he does make a full recovery and comes back to full strength, or semi-full strength, but accepts Jesus Christ in that time, because I don't know all the rules of getting to heaven. I don't know like all the stipulations when you are in heaven, but I pray that if I do get to heaven, if he does get to heaven, that we can be up there and we can, play our games like old as good friends. I'm sorry. It's just typically my thoughts are a little crowded already, but with this, it's a little harder. And I don't want to sit here and act as though I am higher than or better than anyone. I'm just as much human as anyone else. Sinner as sin can be. And that's why I need Jesus. And I pray that he finds Jesus, because I don't want to see him. I guess I would, but I don't want to go to heaven if I do and not see him there. And so I truly do pray he accepts Jesus Christ into his life, accepts him as his Lord and Savior, and proclaims him Lord. But I want to thank you all for listening. If you have time to set aside just a little prayer for Terrence. This isn't, I find it hard. I've had so many passings in my life now that crying is really hard for me. And even now it's hard. Like, I don't want to cry per se, but I can feel it in my body and it's just not coming. And I don't know. My wife said that sometimes there's a need for like a strong individual when everyone else is kind of emotionally unstable. And I get that. But it just feels sad that I can't even muster up the tears for a good friend. But I guess tears don't make sorrow any sadder, or something along those lines. So, if you have the time, if you have a place in your heart to pray, then I pray that you pray for Terrence. Send him your blessings. If God is to heal him, then I pray that he reaches out to Jesus Christ on his own. If God is to take him, I pray that he reaches Jesus Christ before he is taken. To all those who have watched or listened, I thank you for watching and listening. Especially when I just go out there, and I know this one wasn't too happy-go-lucky or too pointed on the particular verses, but I want to just say real quick, love you all, God bless you all, pray you all find God, and in Jesus' name, amen.